Andreas, how are you?
Good, man. How you doing?
Very, very good. Thanks for spending some time chatting with me today. Are you at home?
Yes, I'm in São Paulo, Brazil. Yeah.
And how's the weather there? Because it's very cold here and snowing, and you guys are going to be coming here in the winter. So are you ready?
I'm more than ready, man. I cannot wait to go back on the road, regardless of the weather. Here in São Paulo, it's very warm now. It's raining every day. It's like the summer characteristics. Like January, February, it rains a lot. It's very warm, but yeah, like I said, we're ready. Since like 2020, of course, with the new album and etc. We were ready to go on the road, and hopefully that will happen. This time around. Let's see.
Yeah, because it seems like for you guys, more than almost anybody, the timing was like really, really bad for this pandemic with your album coming out in 2020. You must have been ready to just like spend the next 2 years on the road, right?
Definitely, for sure. Yeah. We put out the album in February, but we did we start the whole promotion of the album in September, October, when we played Rock in Rio, when we presented the front cover. We played the Isolation, one song. We went to France, to do promo tours. I've been to Mexico and stuff. So we did everything up to the point, of course, the most important of all, which is touring. Which you go everywhere and you visit places and you exchange, the energy and ideas with your fans and etc. But it didn't happen only to us. It happened to the whole business. So we had to deal with that together. And we found new and different ways of being Sepultura, because I never imagined Sepultura being a band without a road. There's no meaning. There's no meaning being a musician if you don't have the road, at least on my point of view, or for Sepultura point of view. We like to be on the road, we like to travel, we like to visit places, we like to go, exotic places and etc. So and we started to use the internet really to keep the band busy. We created the Sepultura event, every Wednesday. We had the communication with our fans. We perform Sepultura music. We have interviews. We have Q&As and stuff, and we'd end up with an album, which was not really planned. The Sepultura album came out later, the idea really to reorganize and remix everything and etc. So we got busy, it was really interesting. I think the band really got stronger out of it, because we managed to be Sepultura without the stage, at least for a while, and now we're ready to go back, to come back.
Yeah, I think it's really commendable the way that you guys have approached it. Like you really, you saw a bad situation and you kind of turned it around and made something that obviously was going to be healthy for you, maybe mentally as well, but also keeping your fans engaged and giving them something that they probably weren't expecting at all. So they probably really appreciate it.
And like never before, we never did that before. Actually, we were pretty slow on the internet, actually, our website and stuff. And this last 2 years, we really improved, our communication and our engagement, also in our own site. We are preparing some stuff for this year as well, like a Patreon page, where you have like a exclusive content, for our fans, which will be very interesting, because it's another part that we can explore, in a straight communication with them, which is great. So, but like I said, I mean, we are so anxious, to play the new material live. That's the whole reason to be a musician, is to be on stage, and hopefully this time will happen. We're ready, all the bureaucratic process and visas and stuff. It's moving, it's flowing and it's working. So, hopefully that will happen. We're ready.
Yeah. Well, we're ready as well. And you're going to be in Montreal on the 17th of March. You're going to be playing at the Corona Theatre, ironically named.
Great.
So for you, obviously, you've been playing in this band, 35 years now? And what for you makes the perfect Sepultura show? When you come off the stage and you look back at the last hour and a half or whatever it is, what makes you think that was exactly how I wanted it to go?
Well, that's a great question, man. It's so great that it's very hard to answer. It's like it depends. There's so many variables, that during a day. I think the perfect show is when you really put everything out of the normal life or normal day, and you put yourself during an hour and a half in a different world, and you really go to the stage and you go to a different place. You act different, you feel different. Every artist will tell you that. If you see somebody on stage, off stage, it's a very different characteristics and atmosphere. So once we are able to do that, that's great. That we are really gonna enjoy ourselves and really sing the lyrics with our fans and lights and all the stuff, and really be there without really thinking anything else. So and I have to say we are like that naturally. We generally, of course, when we are in the World Cup, let's say football or soccer, and Brazil is playing at the same time we're playing, we have kind of divided feelings and stuff, but something like it really helps the whole atmosphere of being on stage, celebrating music and stuff, and really enjoy ourselves and really play the songs that we want to play, not really think about what's the formation of the band when the music of this music or this album, which label and stuff. We don't do like let's say a political set list. We play from Bestial Devastations to Quadra, everything, whatever we feel pleased like and stuff, or whatever the contest or the concept of the tour is. So and that's very cool, because we have freedom, artistic freedom, really to. And the fans, they don't want to know about all this bullshit, that happens backstage, like the fights with labels and managers and all that crap. They want to go there and really enjoy the music, and that's what we do, and as long as we keep this feeling and this spirit, it's going to be a great show for sure.
Are there any songs from Quadra that you're particularly looking forward to playing live?
Oh man, they are very challengeable. It's a very hard album that we managed to create, and but this week, me and Eloy, we went to the practice room, and we start jamming around. Paulo and Derrick Paulo is in some different city in Belo Horizonte, what Sepultura is from, actually. Okay. And Derrick's in the States, so they're gonna join us in a few days to prepare the show and really go on tour. But it felt great. We only played the new songs. We played Isolation, we played Pentagram and Last Time, and, Means to an End. We have 7 songs of the new album on the set list, which is great, because we're really representing what Quadra is all about, the album. The tour is all about the new album. New, 2 years old, but still new, because we're still going to perform the songs, So, it felt great. I think Pentagram, it's a very challengeable song to play, the instrumental one. You have like kind of a clean sound and leads and very weird tempo flowing throughout the whole song, but it's a lot of fun to play, man. It's a fantastic, so we're just starting to get that feeling again, and of course the stage will do our rhythm. We're gonna have our rhythm back playing. There's no other way.
Yeah. So obviously you had this album that came out with all the collaborators, which was an amazing thing to put out in the middle of a pandemic. Do you ever think about doing that kind of thing in a live environment? Like when you turn up in Montreal or another city, you think about who's there that you could bring out?
Oh yeah, man. Anytime. This is now we have an alibi, to do that. We have the album and everybody there, we have a song already chosen, which is the most hard thing. It's when we find friends and backstage and stuff, they need to know the song. I mean, the jamming has to be legit, the jamming has to be cool, so people can enjoy that and not just, noises around and stuff. So now we have the song, we have a set list and a lot of friends that got involved, on the throughout the year that we did the album, so yeah, for sure. Anytime when we have the chance, we will do that. And it'll be even cool to do a tour with that. We call as many guests that we can, to follow us to be with us on the road and have a blast, But like I said, we're very focused on the Quadra, situation, that we wanted to play our new music. That's the most important thing. And but of course, doors open. Whatever we have our friends around, we'll jam for sure.
Yeah. So I want to talk about the bands that you're bringing with you. You've got Sacred Reich, who are another like classic band that have been around forever. And then we've got Crobar, who that's going to be amazing. And then Art of Shock, which is a new name to me. How do you go about picking the bands to come with you on tour?
Well, there are many, also many people involved in that. Of course, we started with the booking agent with a list of bands, and we throw in our wishes as well. And in the end, we come up with something that will be cool to everyone. Labels as well. We have 4 different labels involved in this tour, which is great. We have a lot of different eras and styles as well, which is important for us, to have a variety for the fans. And Sacred Reich, man, it's so great that they are back. At least for this few years. They stopped for a long time.
Yeah.
And they are brothers. They are really great, good friends. That we did many tours together back in 1989, 1990, 91. During the Arise tour and stuff. We got connected. Our crew were the same, basically. We moved to Phoenix because of them, basically. Because of Gloria. All the management company. Gloria used to manage Sacred Reich. So we got a great connection historically with them. And it's always good to have them around. I cannot really wait, to share the road with them again. They're really great friends. And Crobar, we did tours together before. I love them. I love them as people. I love them as musical, pioneers, in the style they do. It's fantastic band to watch them live too. It's fantastic. And Aftershock it's kind of new to me as well. So it's gonna be something very interesting to always have something fresh, among us old rock and rollers. Which is great. I mean, of course we have Eloy on the drums, which is younger. He brings a new crowd as well. He's an amazing monster drummer. And this mixture of styles and stuff, it's really interesting for us.
So obviously a big part of your life has been given to Sepultura. If you could go back to 1987 and speak to Andreas in 1987, is there anything that you would tell him? Any words of advice?
Nah, not really. I mean, the consequence of my words older, it's because it happened what it happened. Mm-hmm. Why I will change that talking to me in the past? There's no sense. There's no. I mean, the whole concept is a paradox. Because how I'm gonna talk to myself if I'm a consequence of myself? Going through the way without my advices, my older advices. That's why I'm here today. So for me, it doesn't make too much sense. I mean, I wouldn't say nothing. I just observe and like I am here today.
Yeah, that's it. Everything worked out fine. So let's not mess with it.
Well, yeah. I mean, you need the bumps on the road. You need the hard things. You need, frustrations and stuff. Otherwise, you wouldn't grow. You wouldn't shape yourself, your what you are, your opinions and, experiences. And, I'm very thankful of the possibility of being in a band like Sepultura. I visited more than 80 countries, because of music, because of the band. I have friends all around the world, which is an amazing thing to have. It's so amazing, I mean, you can call some, a friend in Germany and talk to them and really feel the perspective of the people there, not only the news and all the crap that is going on, especially with the pandemic situation, And I don't know, it's just like it's something very, very rich, the experience we have and we still have with the music and stuff. So, we cherish the present because that's all there is. Our relation with the past is now, and our expectation to the future is now as well. Nothing else happened besides that. At least that's my point of view. My concept.
So I want to ask you a little bit about your personal music tastes. What would you say is the album that you've listened to more than any other in your lifetime?
Wow. There are a few bands, they're still with me forever. Kiss, Queen, Motorhead, Judas Priest, Metallica, Slayer, Black Sabbath, Led Zeppelin, and all their albums. There's not a specific album, but I listen to them a lot still today. Deep Purple, Richie Blackmore, Rainbow, Dio, Whitesnake, Cover Day. I love that stuff, man. It's I have the privilege to see Rock in Rio in '85. In Rio, Cozy Powell with Whitesnake. It was so fantastic. To see that live. In 1985, which we didn't have basically shows going on in Brazil. So. And this Impact is still with me today. So I still listen to them a lot. And it's amazing that I still listen and find things that I find for the first time, sounds or lyrics and stuff like that, which is amazing. As more you listen, more you really discover, and more it's magical. It's the imperfections there are there, of the recordings and even tunings, whatever, is that it makes the stuff so special. You put like volume 4, for instance, from Black Sabbath, it seems that they did that yesterday. It's so alive, it's so cool, it's so beautiful.
You've mentioned a lot of classic bands there. What about new music? Do you make an effort to keep up with new music?
Not really. I was never a hunter of music, but I don't like to keep headphones all the time, like many musicians do on airplanes and vans and hotels, whatever. I like to listen the ambient sounds, and maybe a song on the radio, music that I don't like, which I like to force myself to listen, because I learn something all the time. Especially when you go to a taxi or a Uber car, whatever. I don't change the station, which the driver listen, because it's cool to challenge yourself to listen. Because if I always ask to put on the rock radio, I know what I'm getting. It's like boring in the end. And for me as a professional musician, it's cool, to have new challenges and rhythms and melodies, and even lyrics and type of voices, whatever. You always learn something which you hate, let's say. So I really don't care what's on the radio, let's say. I just leave this come very naturally. Of course, I have my kids, which brings the music they are listening. My daughter, she loves Demi Lovato, Jonas Brothers, all that kind of stuff, Miley Cyrus, which is not my taste, but I listen to that because she listened to that, and I know what's going on, Taylor Swift and all that kind of stuff, and my other two kids, they Johan, he's 22 now, 23, and he loves guitar. He's a musician, so he listens a lot of classical music, a lot of jazz, a lot of heavy metal. He's really out there, which is great. And the youngest, he likes more of this, I don't know what he likes, rap, the kind of like a Brazilian type of rap, and stuff, and Billie Eilish as well. He likes that kind of stuff, so it's very, it's a lot of variety, and I listen to all of them, somehow.
It's healthy, I think.
It's cool, yeah. And I study a lot of music, I spend my time studying a lot of classical music, classical guitar. I listen to that a lot. I spend time playing with different musicians. I just recently was a part of an album of a singer here in Brazil, a female singer, that put out an album of versions only with acoustic guitar, drums, and bass. And she invited me to play guitar, acoustic guitar, 7-string guitar. It was amazing. It was a really, during the pandemic as well.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of stuff keeps me out of the comfort zone, which is the worst for any artist. Really, really to explore your possibilities and feel a little afraid sometimes, and not too sure about yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, in art, it's cool really to keep your challenge, your challenges up there.
Yeah. So obviously, people who work in metal and hard rock, nobody listens to that kind of music all the time. What do you listen to if you just want to chill out? Do you have any go-to albums for that?
I don't know. I don't look for music for that kind of stuff. I go for a book or something, or a hike.
Right.
I think the sounds of nature, I think that's really satisfying, when when you go out of the electronics or even acoustic, music and stuff, you go out of a certain type of format, and really you have a sensation of just let it flow without the concern of time. I think that's really important sometimes, really to detach of that trail of time, and whatever that means. We all have a concept of time in our heads and stuff, so it's cool, really to turn off and really listen the silence, if that may be.
Enjoy the silence.
Enjoy the silence. It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So my last question is, being Brazilian, I'm sure you're a soccer fan, or as we call it, football. I think you call it football.
Yes.
As well, right? Yeah. Right.
Just the Americans don't do that.
Yeah, I'm from the UK, so it's football to me as well. Yeah. So you've heard of fantasy football. We're gonna do fantasy rock band. So you can pick singer, guitarist, bass player, drummer, and whoever else you want to throw into the band. Anybody alive or dead from history. Who would you choose?
Fuck, man. This is very unfair.
You don't have to think hard. The first names that come to your head.
I don't know.
I think I know who you're going to have on bass, but you might prove me wrong.
Okay, I'll start with bass then. Cliff Burton. I'll put Cozy Powell on drums. I'll have John Lord on keyboards.
Nice.
Myself as a guitar player, if I may. And I'll have
Ronnie two guitars if you want.
Well, the second guitar would be cool to have Tony Iommi, of course. Cozy Powell, Cliff Burton, Tony Iommi, John Lord, and Ronnie James Dio. That's my dream band. I'll be happy to jam with these guys.
Yeah, I bet you would. That's something I would like to see. But in the meantime, we will make do with Sepultura and everybody who you're bringing with you. You're going to be here in a few weeks on the 17th of March, and I will be there. So
awesome.
Yeah, I'm glad you're getting back out on the road. I'm glad everything is going well for Sepultura and you've made the most of the downtime. And thanks for spending some time chatting with me. It's been really nice talking to you.
A pleasure. Yeah, we're very anxious to go back on the road. Like I said, we're ready, to jam, and we'll see you soon. Thank you very much.